follow Everton.
Hello, welcome to Follow Everton. I'm Ryan, your host, and the only person here on this video, unfortunately, this evening. But you are my panel and pundits tonight. I want your comments straight away. Please get involved. I want to know your thoughts as Frank Lampard is going to be announced as Everton manager. I believe that will happen tomorrow morning. The media get briefed at 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, and that is quite normal for things. Now, if I'm honest with you, I don't think that the interviews today in London were anything to do with picking another manager. I think Duncan was just called down to be told about his new role within Frank Lampard's setup, and they were basically discussing the plans moving forward. So I just think that was a bit of a smokescreen. I think it was always going to be Frank Lampard. I think the list of candidates inspired very few people, let's be honest. I mean, I think the reason fans are fairly happy right now, I'd say a selection, I'm not speaking for everyone, but a large selection of fans right now are happy because are happy with Lampard because it means that it's not Vitor Pereira, or it means it's not one of the other names like Roberto Martinez. So ultimately, I think some fans are going to be still disappointed, really, that we didn't extend the search, and it seemed quite narrow-minded. I mean, Frank Lampard was a manager who was available actually in the summer, so the fact that we've gone in for him now, what was wrong with him in the summer? Why did we go for Rafa over him? What's changed in that time? I mean, he's been out of work, so let me know your thoughts, please. I want your reaction straight away on this. Frank Lampard to be announced as Everton manager. I also believe, I think because Jody Morris is not going to be assistant manager, I think he might go in for John Terry. Now, what would you make of John Terry as assistant manager? Do you think that would be helpful? Good for, the defensive aspect of things. And also, hopefully, he keeps Duncan Ferguson on. So you've got a forward, a midfielder, and a defender. And hopefully, you've got there a perfect combination of players that can get a tune out of this bunch. I do think Frank Lampard is the better fit ahead of Vitor Pereira. The reason is, and I've said this on the show on different videos before on the channel and also on my Twitter Spaces, that we need a motivator. We need someone who's going to get something out of them now. And I don't think we could have. I genuinely don't think we could have got a systems man in and given him the time to work something and get a system, because we need results right now. We need to motivate the players, get something, and then reassess in the summer. So yeah, that's my thoughts. That's my real initial reaction. I don't think there was interviews today. I think Duncan was called down to discuss his new role. I think Lampard was a shoe-in for it, and I think that it was a 9 o'clock briefing to the media, and there you go. It's going to be announced tomorrow morning. I think it's job done. Right, let's go to the comments, and I'll come in off some of the comments. I've got this first comment from JT. Hi, JT. He says, Lampard, the best of an iffy bunch. Let's back the dude while he still has a chance to keep us up. Of course, I mean, I think that sentiment would have been shared for any manager. I think you just have to get behind him. At the end of the day, we've got no say in any of it. And whether it had been Vitor Pereira, Frank Lampard, or Wayne Rooney's grandma, we would have just had to get behind him and or her and try and get some results with this team. And I think, apart from, I think a few fans aren't happy because he's a Tory prep London boy. But I think the overwhelming majority now are happy either because it's not one of the other managers or because it's Frank and he's a young English upcoming coach and has got a bright future ahead. Now, what has Frank Lampard done? For me, I'm not trying to sound too negative, but he hasn't done an awful lot. I mean, I don't think there was much between Duncan Ferguson and Frank Lampard, really. I mean, he was manager of Derby County. I think they got to the playoff final and lost against Aston Villa, which obviously the Aston Villa team they had was a very good Aston Villa team. And then he was Chelsea manager the following season, got into the top four. They lost Eden Hazard. It was all right. It wasn't anything special, but they did have the transfer ban and they had gaps they needed to fill. And then obviously the following season they went wild, bought a load of players, Ziyech, Werner, not Werner. Who's that? The 70 million pound attacking midfielder. You know the one I'm talking about. It'll come back to me. But spent a lot of money, and he couldn't get a tune out of the players, and ultimately he lost his job. And in comes Thomas Tuchel, who famously rejected the Everton job about 4 years ago, and goes and wins the Champions League with the same players. So make of that what you will. I think there is an argument there that he hasn't done an awful lot. On the other hand, I think that Frank Lampard is a young upcoming coach in the mold of the likes of Steven Gerrard, who is doing quite well already. He's one of the new generation of managers, and I think he embraces youth really well as well. I think that he's going to get a lot out of Anthony Gordon. I wouldn't be surprised if he molds him into more of a central player, and he'll promote youth. And he's a young English manager, and he's very experienced. He knows about football, obviously, in terms of playing career. I hope his interview was better than the way I was selling him. Let's go to Kev Bracey. Hi, Kev. He's saying delighted. Fan power wins. Now bringing RCL. Still lots to do, but not only gives us a great chance of staying up, but building for the future. I mean, I think this is a long-term appointment with a view to being a long-term appointment. I don't think you bring in a name like Frank Lampard just for 6 months to keep you up. I think you would have gone for someone with a lot more experience. But it is for the future. So if he does well, I'm sure he'll extend his stay. Fan power now. I just touch on that comment, Kev. We shouldn't be as fans able to dictate the football manager, really. If Vito Pereira was the best man for the job, then he should have got the job. At the end of the day, if he was the best man. Now, I don't trust the judgment of the board or anyone in the ownership team. So make of that what you will either way. But then, most of us are just fans. We don't have footballing experience. We haven't conducted the interview. We're entitled to our opinion, but at the end of the day, it should be someone with real football knowledge who understands the game. A director of football, I think the term is, who picks the manager, and not really an inept in the eyes of many board and the fans. But yeah, fan power has won on this occasion. Thanks, Kev. Jason Drury, he says, these are our lovely regular watchers. Welcome back to the show. He says, he's the best of a bad bunch, hoping he uses his Chelsea contacts before Monday. Yeah, I mean, talk of Ruben Loftus-Cheek, but I don't think he's quite at the level for a team that's aspiring to do well. I mean, obviously, I think he's a low Premier League side player, really. I honestly do. But ultimately, that's what we are. I'd be more inclined, strip the emotion out of it, to get Ross Barkley back, because I think we need someone who can carry the ball, be the link between midfield and attack. Whether you like it or not, people don't want to talk about him, but we have missed Gylfi Sigurdsson this season. His creativity, his distribution, and his ability from crossing situations, corners, free kicks. So whether you like it or not, we've missed a number 10. We need someone who can drive, who's got a little bit of vision. I don't think Barkley is quite as good as Gylfi Sigurdsson was in terms of his passing, but can drive forward, be the missing link. And I think he'll have a point to prove. But I'm hoping we don't go back for Barkley. I'm hoping that we've got something else up the sleeve, but I do expect us to go in for someone on loan. Jimmy O'Keefe says, what a joke. Jimmy, what do you make of this appointment then? Would you like to elaborate? I'm more than happy to read out your next comment if you like to elaborate. And I think Kevin shares the same sentiment. We've got Dave Birch. He's saying, I like Frank and I think he'll do well for us. He's English too, which I'm happy about. Yeah, Dave, I agree. I think you want to get an English manager. You want players. You want a manager who the players are going to relate to. And I think by bringing in Frank Lampard, I think they'll have someone who commands respect in terms of what he's achieved as a player. It's just, for me, I don't know whether he has quite enough experience. And I don't think his managerial record is outstanding that you'd think, wow, he's an Everton manager. But I just think it is very much a case of there isn't any real quality options out there at the moment. And we've gone for probably the best of a bad bunch. Also, obviously, Wayne Rooney said today that he turned down the chance to be interviewed. And for me, that says a lot. Maybe that he's matured as a manager, because I think he would have probably jumped. Excuse me. He would have obviously jumped had he still been like he was all those years ago. But He said, I think he was misdirected. I do think he said something like, I hope I'll be I expect and I'm ready to be a Premier League manager, but I've got a job to do at Derby. And he also said, if it's at Everton one day, then brilliant, something like that. So he didn't say he didn't want to be Everton manager. He just wanted to stay at Derby, finish his job, and then come back and approach it in a better light. Maybe I think the Derby one is a free hit for him. If he keeps them up, then he's going to be able to command a bigger salary, probably even a bigger job than Everton, maybe, in the eyes of some, perhaps, or a club that's competing higher up the table, certainly. But also, if he fails, then he'll still be regarded as he's done well. Because if you strip you have to look at it really. I mean, Wayne Rooney, he's had not been able to sign anyone, and he's lost even like a 39-year-old Jagielka to Stoke. So he's done an absolutely ridiculous job, Wayne Rooney. I mean, if you as you say, if you remove the points deduction, he's doing exceptionally well. I think he'd be mid-table. So he would have been a good one, but I think, another needs a little bit more experience. And I think what he's saying at Derby, the circus at Derby, it's good prep for the circus at Everton, whether that's in the future or in the short-term future or in the distant future. But anyway, it looks like it is Lampard, so we'll move back to him. JT saying him being a Tory Pratt London boy would lead to a very Everton, aren't we? Poor kind of possibility that I'm not going to think of right now. I think a few people had said in private messages to me on Twitter, which the handle, by the way, is @FollowEverton, saying they didn't really want Lampard in purely because he wouldn't resonate with the Everton fan values, and that we're a working man's club, and him being a Tory supporter, it didn't fit in with his sort of ideology of who an Everton manager would be. And I think that ultimately you have to segregate politics and football. I don't think you can mix the two. If you probably looked through a lot of our players, they'll have different views to the fans, different religions as well. I mean, you can't start mixing these things. You have to look at it purely from a footballing perspective. And I really hope that Everton have made the right decision and that he is the best man for the job on paper and in practice. And I've not factored in anything to do with who he supports in terms of political parties. Pragmatically, I found a way of answering that really, but got a little bit of a sad response from Sanjeev. It seems like he's not happy about Frank. I'm going to come to more comments. Thanks for sharing your Friday night with me. I know there's a lot of, I imagine there's a lot of Everton streams on and a lot of Twitter spaces and stuff, but I'm glad you've chosen to listen to myself, Ryan, on here. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. I think you'll see now we're over 700 subscribers, so we're doing really well. I remember when we had not even 100 subscribers and we were chugging away putting these videos out. So it's nice to see that the channel's getting some recognition. So if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, and wherever you're watching, whether that's on YouTube or Facebook, hit the like. What I am going to say, though, is if you're watching on Twitter, and I know there are people who watch on Twitter, I can't tell how many of you are watching on Twitter, but if you're watching on there and you're commenting through the app, I can't see what you're saying. So you need to move over to YouTube or Facebook. You just search for Follow Everton. It's really simple, and come and find us on here. Okay, next comment from Jason Taylor. Jace is saying Super Frank Lampard will find some gems in the academy. Yeah, we talked about he likes youth. I think Jared Branthwaite's going to develop under him, and I think we're going to see Anthony Gordon potentially mold into more of an inside player in the mold of Mason Mount, playing off one of the sides, but just developing his ability so he's not so predictable, because if he plays on the right, he's always going on the outside. If he plays on the left, he's always cutting in. So I think developing young players is going to be within his remit, and you've got to have a sustainable academy that produces players, whether that's for the first team or for other clubs to buy off us for a profit, for us to reinvest. So that would be high up on the remit. I don't know what involvement he would have in the academy, obviously, but I think if we can certainly integrate more youngsters in, Lewis Washington, he played for the under-23s the other night, impressed me, and I think he would be the next to come through. Obviously, Lewis Dobbin now involved. If he's ready, play him. That's all you can ask for, really. Here's a comment. I have to remind that he hasn't said yes. I mean, he's going to say yes. He's going to say yes, isn't he? He'd be a fool. He'd be a fool to turn away the chance to work with these Muppets. And please, the comments keep coming in. Keep them coming, guys. If you're new to the channel, as I say, subscribe. If you're on YouTube. Nathan Dent, good evening, Nathan. He's saying the younger players need a decent run out, particularly against the likes of Norwich. I'm glad Dobbin signed. He looks class. I think that's a fair assessment, Nathan. Against Brentford on Saturday next week, I'd like to see some of the young players, particularly Nathan Patterson, getting a chance to impress. I think if we don't sign a central midfielder, I think Tyler Onyango's got to be integrated into the first team setup ASAP, because we're desperately short in there. JT, politics has a way of getting into everything just based on the realities of people who have to live with each other. Yeah, you can't really avoid it. I mean, especially on social media, but I think you have to look at this pragmatically and objectively and not consider what he believes in and who he is as a person. At the end of the day, you just want a winning manager. I don't care what he believes in. Blue Nose KD Dublin says reports that Tim Cahill with Blue Bill with Graham Sharp in London today. Yes, yeah, I saw that, and I've heard that, and I know a lot of the sources, Charles Stevenson, El Bobble, a lot of these sort of in the know characters on social media have been saying for a little while that it would be Tim Cahill get with a technical role. I think he's actually been working for the club for a little while now, actually coaching in the academy. And he's been doing some commercial work abroad. I don't think for a team in Dubai, but I think Everton were really impressed with him because he was involved in the negotiations for the James Rodriguez deal. That seen James join one of the teams in the Emirate in Dubai. I can't remember the name. It's not really that relevant, but he was working for them, and I think that they were impressed with what he was doing over there. And he's been offered some sort of technical role. I think he's already in the role. About Graham Sharp. By the way, I actually think bringing Tim Cahill in makes sense as part of a football structure, not the structure. I think he could offer something along with other people. We need some really well-respected, really experienced people from the outside who know about football and how to run a football club and the ins and outs. But Tim Cahill could definitely have something to offer for me. And sorry, Blue Nose KD, you asked me about Graham Sharp. What is your opinion on this as well? I mean, I don't see anything wrong with having Graham Sharp on the board as part of a team, but not the team, if that makes sense. Someone who can contribute and offer an opinion, a different set of eyes, and a different set of ears as well. But you need to bring outside people from. You can have your Evertonians, your blue people, but you also need to bring in some people from the outside as well who are the most qualified for the job and let them get on with the running of the club. Now, I want to ask people actually what they make of the whole process in terms of this managerial appointment. I mean, for me, I think it's been an utter farce that we've potentially brought in Vitor Pereira from Portugal or wherever he was residing and pretty much assured him that he was getting the Everton job. I think he had 3 interviews over Zoom and then was invited over. And he's a friend of Bill Kenwright's. So he's been on the radar twice before. So to bring him in and then kind of mislead him into thinking he was getting the job or stringing him along so much, it's embarrassing. And you wonder why certain coaches aren't applying for the Everton job anymore. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm going to go with Hakon Isaac Sarak, so I hope that's okay. Seems like Cahill are in. What role do you think or hope he will get? I think he'll be a technical advisor working along with someone like the full-time sporting director, so to do with the first team and player trading, etc., and overseeing footballing matters within the club. Jeff Beresford. Hi, Jeff. How are you, mate? I can't get Mabsy on. Won't answer the phone. He hates the red shite and told Klopp to fuck off. I think that's a good That's a 10-year contract for me. The Liverpool fans won't like it. JT say I'd like to see Jared Branthwaite keep developing. Yeah, for sure, 100%. I think he's got an awful lot of potential. I think it was a shame that he was not in the. I think it was a shame that he got injured after the Chelsea performance, because I think he did enough to stay in that team after that for a run of games. He did well enough. Obviously, he scored the equalising goal. Michael Keane, for me, doesn't have a future at Everton Football Club. His time was up 3 years ago. Same with Mason Holgate and John Joe Kenny. The three of them have not been good enough for years, and I think you've got to stop bringing the new blood through. And for me, that is one of them is Jared Branthwaite. Jace saying we had Vito on Sky Sports News. It is Christine might wear an Everton shirt on Loose Women. This Everton managerial job, it's like they've had to all go through series 2 of what's that series? The joke isn't funny if I can't even know the series. The one where everyone's what is that series called? Where Squid Game. It's like they've all had to film season 2 of Squid Game, and whoever. I imagine if the prize is the Everton job at the end of it, most of them would be jumping off. Anyway, yeah, I mean, it's been like a circus, hasn't it? I don't think it should be played so much in the public eye. I don't know about the Vita Pereira interview. I mean, I said on Twitter, and I think some people didn't agree, some people did. What he actually said, I didn't listen to the interview live. I read it back as a transcript. And the way I read it was that he actually spoke quite well up until the point when a lot of the Sky Sports interviewer was really pressing him on, are you getting the job? Are you going to be considered for the job? How did it come about? Like silly questions, like milking it. So I think like the first few questions, maybe the first dozen questions even, were like, not dozen, because there wasn't that many, but the first section of the interview with him read well. And I liked the insight that he provided, that he was a friend of Bill Kenwright. He'd been asked to come for an interview. I didn't like what happened after. It became very embarrassing the way Sky Sports News handled it. So direct that at them, I think. But they were just, it made good TV. If you were a neutral, you'd find that utterly hysterical. Julian saying great appointment. Thanks, Julian. Andrew Ford is saying, so glad VP isn't getting it, but on what basis, please, Andrew? Tell me why. Dave Birch is going on to say, on the Tory Pratt thing, and have Jacob Rees-Mogg for manager if it guaranteed us a trophy. Really don't care about Lamp's politics, but in fairness, I think his family are East and working class, so they aren't really different, except we're all Labour brainwashed. Yeah, well, they're all as bad as each other, aren't they? But yeah, as we've said, it doesn't matter. We just need a winning manager, I think, at the end of the day. But there will be a small select of Evertonians who won't want Lampard for that reason. They really won't. They won't want someone with those values. Not even necessarily to do with things like Hillsborough, but just because it doesn't resonate with what Everton fans are in general, and being a working man's club, and traditionally the club, well, the stadium being in a poor part of Liverpool. Anyway, I want to move away from that before my words get tangled twisted and I end up on You've Been Framed or somewhere for saying something I shouldn't. If you haven't already, hit the like button for me. Where's the like button? If you're on YouTube, it's in that corner. Why is the camera mirroring? That's a bit weird. Like it on Facebook as well for me, please. I know I'll tell you how many people are watching on Facebook right now. 8 watching live on Facebook. All of you, please make sure you're liking this. And the 22 watching live on YouTube now, 24. Please make sure you like and subscribe to Follow Everton, the channel. Much appreciated. Going to keep going for a little longer. I think this is breaking news, so we're getting people dropping in and out. Jason Taylor, he's saying, I'm hoping Lampard, as a brilliant player, can pass on his winning knowledge and winning mentality to youngsters. If Lampard wasn't as good of a player, I just don't think he comes into the equation based on his experience as a manager. Make of that what you will. I think people look at it as, oh, he's a brilliant player. He's a brilliant player, so he must be a good manager. And that's why they get excited for him. And also because the other alternatives are shite. But yeah, I do hope he brings the winning knowledge and, as you described it, a winning mentality, and acts as a role model for the other players. and sets expectations. I'm intrigued to see who his backroom staff are. As I say, I really hope it is, excuse me, John Terry. Just had a Ben and Jerry's. John Terry, assistant manager with Duncan Ferguson. I think that could be a very interesting mix of people. If you're just joining us now on YouTube, welcome to the stream. My name is Ryan, Follow Everton, the main host here. We do have a few other pundits, but I haven't been able to get hold of them. Basil's got deadlines at uni. He's studying his second part architecture, so I've barely been able to get anything off him for 2-3 months now. And I can't get a hold of Mabsy, so I'm assuming he's in work. So it's just me tonight, but I've got all of you for company, and keep the comments coming in. I'm enjoying it very much. Ruben Loftus-Cheek on loan. Yeah, we covered that before. I don't know whether he's a level required, but we need bodies in there, so we'll take him. Rob, evening Rob, he's saying evening Ryan from Belfast. I'm over the moon. We're getting Lampard. Always respected him as a player. Scored against us all the time. I mean, I remember watching that FA Cup final as a kid. I think it was probably 2009. I would have been about 16 or 17, 16. Scoring that goal, honestly, killed me. Scored against us all the time. So you can just imagine his interview is going to be, I've always enjoyed playing against Everton, but now I'm hoping that I'm going to make Evertonians happy finally and make up for all the misery I've caused them. He owes us one for the FA Cup, doesn't he? Bear with me one sec. Players in before Monday? Yeah. I mean, you can imagine it's just a list of names of players who are available, and there isn't anyone. We're not going to be plucking anyone from any particular teams, but yeah, I'm hoping we've got something up our sleeve. I was disappointed to hear that Luis Diaz is going to Liverpool. I've got to be honest. After Everton being in talks with him throughout the summer, that really annoyed me. I mean, he clearly was available, clearly wanted the player, clearly wanted him to come, but we didn't have the money. And I think it's just because you got leeches. I mean, I read today Cenk Tosun wouldn't go on loan to Hull. He's just completely milking his contract, isn't he? Dave Hersey, good evening, Dave. You can still subscribe for me, can't you, Dave? I'm not expecting you to have notifications on, but hit that subscribe button for me. He's saying good luck with Super Frank. Evertonians normally, we're a classy bunch of people. I hope recent events haven't changed that really, but we will look after him, providing key. Yeah, we'll move on. Steve Delaney. I just hope now that once Lampard's announced, everyone backs him in the club. We need everyone pulling in the same direction. Spot on, Steve. And let's get out of this mess we currently find ourselves in. Not asked about anyone's political stance. It's all shit. Yeah, agreed. I'm only asked about winning our next game and hopefully the next few games as well. Steve, hit the thumbs up button for me. I know you watch all our videos. Hope you're well. I'm pleased to see that you're happy with this by the looks of it. And I completely agree. We need to all pull in the same direction. Want Frank or don't want Frank. Get behind him. David, the Chelsea fan, also saying, he had a touchline spat, didn't he, with Jurgen Klopp? He said you only won one league title and you're giving it the big one. I remember. Brilliant. Satis 1983, welcome to the channel. I don't know whether you're one of the new people who've come over from Twitter Spaces on my recommendation, but welcome. Pleasure to have you here. The interview reeks of a Mashiri stunt to win over the fans. That backfired horribly. I don't know. I mean, even that sounds really far-fetched for me. I think PR, obviously. Do you really think that Mashiri said you need to go and win over the fans, go and do an interview with Sky Sports? Be honest. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people said it was horribly scripted and it was embarrassing and it was a mess and it was awkward. So yeah, could have well been. Thank you for the comment. Jason Taylor, Frank can stabilise us. He'll get time to build a good squad, what Everton need. We need to just give the new manager time. We need to give him a period of time. But unfortunately, the patience, as every managerial appointment comes in, is less and less. Rafa had too much baggage. It was never going to work. The minute anything went wrong, it was always going to go in a downward spiral. But yeah, he needs time. As long as we're showing some signs of progress, he'll get time. some signs of progress. He doesn't have to achieve right away, but we need to see some signs of something happening, and he'll get time, he'll get back in, he'll get transfers. And ultimately, he did have money to spend at Chelsea. He signed a lot of players at Chelsea, and they went on to win the Champions League with a different manager. Excuse me while I just have a very quick swig of my water, if that's okay, because I've been speaking for 30 minutes straight. I'm back and I am refreshed. Thanks for sticking with us. Has there been any more news? Has anyone seen any tweets, anything on News Now or any of the other sites? Anything interesting that they can share with me? I can't obviously check while I'm doing this. Let me know if there's any news, any late developments of anything anyone wants to share. Please fire away. The hot seat is still available. If anyone actually wants to come and speak to me with a webcam or voice, just send me a message on Twitter. I could pick it up. I can bring you in. You can actually speak to me directly from your phone. I just send you a link. You click on it and you turn your mic on. That's all you need to do. I'm happy to bring any callers, anyone who wants to speak live on the show now. If you want to have your say, it's very simple. Search for @FollowEverton on Twitter. And in my direct inbox, if I see anyone in there who wants to come on, I'll bring you in. Yeah, The Athletic is saying the former Chelsea manager has emerged as the board's preferred choice. Oh, surprise, surprise. The board, but probably not Mashiri. Loads more comments. I'm going to go through the best ones now. The fact he doesn't have Premier League experience and playing formation wouldn't suit our style. If that's about Vitor Pereira, I agree. I don't think it would have worked. I think 3-4-3 wouldn't have worked. I don't think he has time to build a system. I think we needed someone who knows Everton's problem, Everton as a club, the Everton players and the league and opposition. And you'd hope he's been watching loads of games with a view to getting a job. So I really, really hope he's coming in and he'll motivate the players and try and just get something out of them until the end of the season and then go from there. Blue Nose KD Dublin, happy to have Sharp and Cahill involved. It's good to have an ear on the board and a say on signings. That's good. Matty, hiya Matty, saying, I'm delighted if Lampard accepts the job, bring John Terry with you and sort of defence and set pieces out as well. I completely agree. I think John Terry could offer something. He did a good job at Aston Villa. Obviously, he left Villa to try and get a job elsewhere and hasn't. He wasn't able to get his foot in the door as a manager, but maybe that lends to the fact that he will come as some form of coach or supporting staff for Frank anyway. Hopefully he's not, because these players were on stupid money at Chelsea when they were playing 300 grand a week. They're not going to be on anywhere near that as coaches or managers. So hopefully they're happy with that. Praneet Satish, I'm going to bring you in here. He said he did an okay job at Chelsea when the season began. Even Chelsea fans. Okay. Fair enough. He's saying that Chelsea fan, he did a better job than okay at Chelsea. Because they thought they would finish outside the top 4 and they were top of the league and had a bad 2 months at the end of the season. Okay. But he got sacked in the second season and couldn't get anything out of half his players and couldn't get them to gel. If he bought those players, why did he buy them if he couldn't find a system for them? And also the manager who came in won the Champions League. So look, I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm trying to look at things objectively. Thanks for your comment. Jason Ditchber, his first words are going to be so important. He'll set the tone for his tenure. Fingers crossed he's given time to nurture our young talent and attract the caliber of players. Agreed. Very good comment, Jason. Thank you very much. And our other Jason from before, Everton's recruitment has been terrible and you think Mashiri will be learning from the stupid recruitment stopping us moving forward. I agree. We shouldn't have a board and we shouldn't have all these people, chipping in with the manager. I think you have to have a director of football, sets a footballing philosophy and brings players in to match that. Sorry, brings a manager in who can implement that and brings players in who can support him on that. So, yeah, we need to get a director of football. Let's hopefully Frank Lampard has indicated to be willing to work with one. Chris Jones, hi Chris. Needed this. 2 young footballing men, Tim and Frank, fresh ideas. Yeah, they're a good generation of footballers. I think that they could be You know, it could be a very positive thing. I don't get the negativity about Tim Cahill, honestly. I think that is, it's not necessarily a job for the boys if he's qualified to do the job. Doesn't make any difference. It's a bonus that he knows the club. Chris, don't know if you've already subscribed, but if you haven't, please hit that subscribe button for me. Just seeing whether anyone. No one wants to come on. We'll just continue with the comments for a little bit longer. Rob Fulton, Dom's a decent striker, not what we need. Interesting. We need someone who has pace and to beat the fan. I think we need a target man. I think Everton have always been best with a target man, and the supply's got to be good. And you have that sort of, you want another option. I think Calvert-Lewin's got to be one of 2 or 3 strikers, really, Rob. I know what you're saying to some extent, you know, a few headers and tap-ins, but I think he'll get 20 goals a season with the supply, and he needs to be one of 2 or 3 quality strikers up front. And I'd say we've just really got one out and out number 9. Who's any good? I'm not counting Richarlison as a number 9. David Hersey, I just subbed. Thank you, mate. Very kind. Everton doing brilliantly in the stadium side. Mashiri needs to learn fast about football side. Yes, he's had 6 years. What has he learned so far? Who should be his first signing? I really don't know. I'd like Ruben Diaz. I'd like not Ruben Diaz. I love Ruben Diaz. See, more likely to get Cesar Diaz. Luis Diaz at Porto, late bid, 50 mil. No, in all seriousness, I'd like to see maybe going for someone like Lingard. Just bring him in on loan if we can get a deal done. I think Barkley is another option if you strip the emotion out of it. I think it's a doable deal. You just need a body in there who can offer something. Who's going to want the best for the club. I really don't know. I'll be honest with you. I really don't know. I could sit and say I want Bissouma at Brighton, Conor Gallagher at Palace from Chelsea, but it's not going to happen. That's who I'd like. But I think it's not going to be anything like that. I think it'll be someone who's on the fringes of Chelsea, United, City, or Spurs even, to be fair. I've got to skip through some of the comments. Because of time, I'm going to pull out some of the best ones. Joe Spatcher saying, "I'm happy with the Lampard news." I'm okay. I'd say I'm okay. I didn't necessarily want Vitor Pereira. I think he had a lot of backing. I think he had a lot of good support on social media, certainly on my last stream and my Twitter Spaces. And the feedback I'd had was that he is actually quite good, well respected from the Fenerbahce fans in particular, even though he was sacked after 5 months there, his last spell. But I didn't necessarily want him. I wanted an English coach. So, yeah, I'm fairly happy with Frank Lampard. I think it was just the best of a bad bunch, if I'm being honest with you. And that we should have cast the net wider and taken a little bit more time before appointing. But look, I'm here to react on the news, and I'm trying to be as positive as I can with it and as balanced as I can as well. So, yeah, Joe, are you happy with it? Yeah, I agree. Joe saying Billy Gilmore on loan for Norwich. No, I mean, it's not going to happen, is it? I mean, I think you'll get good out of him, but it's just a massive expectation, a massive weight on, a massive weight on the shoulder, really. Just checking on here. Someone said John Terry coming in to keep the players' wives satisfied. That's brilliant. EFC is saying, what about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang? I think, I mean, he's a quality player, but is his attitude going to be right? Coming from Arsenal to Everton, he couldn't motivate himself there. He's struggling. Is he really going to want to come into a relegation battle at Everton? I think he'll be available on loan, but you're talking stupid money. You could definitely offer something as an option, but I think that's 5 years too late, unfortunately, now. Thank you very much for your comment there. Appreciate it. Agreement reached. Fab just said now. Yeah, is that Fabrizio Romano? Thank you for all the amazing comments tonight and the amazing support, and 40 people watching live plus whatever's on Twitter. That's really good. I appreciate it, and it's a sign that the channel's growing. If you haven't already subscribed, please, somewhere down here on YouTube, hit that subscribe button for me, and your notifications as well if you want to watch all our videos. But the most important thing, hit that subscribe. Let's go for 1,000 subscribers. I think that's achievable. I think we deserve that for the content that we've been putting out. Rooney not even getting interviewed. What do I make of that? I think it shows some maturity. Maybe he's showing that he doesn't necessarily need to jump ship all the time, and he could earn his coin there. It's a win-win for him. If he does well, he'll get an amazing job, an amazing salary. And if he goes down, people will still say, he had a points deduction, transfer embargo, had to sell his players. He's still done fantastic. So win-win for him. I'm going to prioritize people who haven't already commented now, because I need to wrap this up soon. It's going absolutely crazy in the comments. Thanks for everyone's support. I'm sure I'll do another video at some point on here. Rooney wants to continue the Derby project. Yes, that's correct. I'm pleased, Terry, you're happy with him. That's good as well. Gabriel is saying, greetings from Cuba. Hello. Excellent. What do you expect about Lampard? I think, Amigo, that he'll do, I think he'll stabilize us immediately. I think he'll command some respect from the players. I think they'll be motivated to do well and impress. I think we'll get a new manager bounce for a few games as well. And then I think it's ultimately going to come down to who stays fit. If we can keep everyone fit and he can build something up, then I think we could try and get closer to, at least away from these bottom sort of 5 or 6 places. In the long term, I'm hoping, I should say, that he can build something and recruit well, and he'll know a good player. Trust me, he will. Well, he was at the top of his game, wasn't he? So he knows what's to expect, and I think midfield's now going to become huge for us. His Chelsea sides, as a player, had like 5 amazing midfielders all rotating. So he'll know what he wants. He'll know what's to expect, and what he needs. And I think over the long term, it's trying to get us up to fight in and around for the top 6 places and for the Champions League. But it's as far away as ever, isn't it, at the moment? Stu is saying Rom on loan. Yeah, brilliant. Phil Jones on United. I think that's more realistic. The Rooney comments were mature. Yes, Blue Nose, that was fantastic. Walter King, I'm a Chelsea fan. You guys would love him. He knows how to communicate. Young academy product would grow. Yep. Walter, thanks for your comment, mate. Please subscribe. Appreciate that. Peter Bell, keep up the good work. Met you in Southport. Yes, I did. I met you in Southport, Peter. That was very nice. I would have had more time, but I was getting dragged away from the restaurant. But yeah, chat on here at some point. Keep in touch, and see you on more videos. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Kieran, small manager, small club. Really? Very good. Yes, I think Rondon's off in the summer. I think Jenk's off. I think Iwobi's off. I think Delph is off. There's 4 or 5 players. Sigurdsson's contract's up. I think he's already left, to be honest. I think he's long gone. Yeah, well, he's not in the Premier League squad, so he'll never play for Everton again. So there's 5 players. Kenny's gone. Hang on. Jenk, Sigurdsson, Rondon, Delph, Kenny. I think all of them will go. I think Holgate will go, and I think Michael Keane. Praying. And our final comment: Tuchel's success at Chelsea can't be to discredit Lampard. Everton can't attract Tuchel caliber manager. I feel he make mistakes and grow with Everton. I think the Everton job was really attractive a few years ago when we actually interviewed him for it. We were in a good position financially, and we were very ambitious, and we had good foundations closer to the start of the Mashiri era. You're talking about the 3 superstars in John Stones, Ross Barkley, and Lukaku at the time, and we should have just gradually sprinkled quality on that. We still had the Moyes best players in Coleman, Jags, Tim Howard, and Baines, and we should have gradually added to that core group instead of just gung ho, scattergun, pick a mix approach. And a final comment from our friend Hakon Isaac Sarak. I need a nickname for you. Come on, give me a little nickname for you for next time. According to Fabrizio Morano, it's done and sealed now. So there you go. Frank Lampard is Everton manager. Thank you for watching tonight's stream. My name is Ryan. Hit the like button wherever you're watching. And if you're on YouTube, which is at Follow Everton, please subscribe. And let's try and get up to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the season. That would make me very happy. And allow the channel to grow. So thanks, guys. I hope you all enjoyed the stream. enjoyed everyone's input tonight. Really fantastic comments. Interesting to hear different people's views. It does seem overarchingly positive, and I think that's good. I think this is uniting the fan base. I don't know whether Everton leaked the names that we hate, so that when this name that we also didn't quite like comes about, we tolerate it. So, well, we're happy about it at the end of the day. So I think Everton have got the right man. Anyway, thanks, Stu. Right, space. Okay, thanks. All right. Time for bed. Time for a lie down. I hope you enjoyed the stream. All the best. Take care. Bye now.